Okay, so right now, right, it's projecting the screen from the computer. We've had some calibration issues this morning.
Did he find the items he needed over in the other projection?
Yeah, we found a few things and we've made some changes. It's gotten a little bit better, but there's some things that I think Doug's gonna wanna talk to you about.
Okay.
Because if you'll look here, right, we had to make some major changes to.
Yeah, he's gonna try and sell me something.
Yeah. So it's a little bit better, and we downloaded an updated version of the interactive tools on this computer. So one of the things that you're going to want to do, because you talked about, you know, if I haven't been in the room for a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a semester and I come back, I'm a little rusty. You can download this, it's free software. You can download it onto a laptop if you have one and use it. I've got an older version, newer than what you had, but older than what we just installed on my laptop. Version 4.2. This is version 5.
When did it come out?
And so I'm going to tell you. So it's Epson Easy Interactive Tools is the name of the software. So if you were to go on just open up a browser, so you know Google or Safari or Edge or whatever you use, and type in Epson Easy Interactive Tools downloads. Right? You'll get to the download site. They also frequently want you to enter the model of the projector you're using. Okay? The software really doesn't matter that much, but if you stand at your projector facing this way and look up, you can read it. And this particular one is a 4030 WI projector. If I stand this way and look up, I can read it, it's just backwards, right? So stand facing the board, look up, and you can read the model number of the projector. But if you want to be able to have that software on your laptop so that you can stay familiar with it and work with it, or if you ever plug your laptop in, you know, you can utilize that software on your laptop. So just so you know where it is. And
Is that going to be at Epson.com?
yeah. But normally, you know, what we did this morning, we just Epson Easy Interactive Tools.
Okay.
And
if you search in Google, it'll take you probably right to it.
Take you right to it.
Would those be things that you and your crew would have to install on the room computers, since we're not administrators?
Chances are probably so.
Yeah, we'll talk with you about that. You could just push an MSI out, or
Yeah, that would be good if I had that capability.
gotcha. Okay, I understand. So there will be other versions probably floating around, just depending on when, right, they were installed. They're going to look different, but they're going to function the same way. So what you're about to see is going to be different. It's going to be a lot different from what you saw this morning. And it's different for me too. This is an upgrade for me as well. All the functions are still there. They're just in different places. So we'll get into that here in just a minute. But if you want to get it onto a device that you can utilize, just drop it onto your laptop. So I'm going to close this real quick. So after it's downloaded and installed, you'll get an icon that looks kind of like this. And I dropped it on the taskbar down here. So we'll go ahead and load that. And as it loads up, you're going to see a few things that look a little different from what you're used to seeing. Okay, so this is version 5. This is brand new. Downloaded it 45 minutes ago. So here you have the various tools, the pen tool, okay? And when you touch that pen tool, I have the pen, the highlighter, and then I have the shapes are here. So whereas before the shapes were in a different place. So when I go to the pen, I can select how thick I want the line to be just by touching that. And I could use the pen or my finger, either one. Okay. And when I'm done with that, I can then select a color. So black, red, blue, green, yellow, white. So if I select red as the color, and now I come out and draw or write whatever I want to do. Now, if you have you should have two different pens in your room. If you don't, that's okay. You can still use your finger, right, separately from your pen. So here my finger is set up on the red color, right? And the pen is set up on black. So I could be here and simultaneously writing two different spots in two different colors. Okay? So just something to consider. So if I were to change the color on my finger, I can just come over here and do that. And I'm still going to have the black on the pen. If I change the pen, I can do that and should still have the yellow on my finger. Okay. So whichever one you use to touch here, right, will dictate the color that you're using. I should also be able to change the size of the thickness of the line. So now I've got a much thinner line there with this, but I still have the same thicker line with my finger. So I've got two different colors, two different thicknesses based on what I select.
What if you're using two pens and plus your finger? Is it possible to do three different, or just two?
Just to the best of my knowledge.
I think you can use both pens, and then you can actually, I think you can actually have up to 6 people.
Oh,
So,
can I? Okay.
Up to 6.
Let's find out. Come on, Doug. So let's see if we can do 3. So right now I've got a pen. Let me do this. I'm going to add another screen. Okay, so right now we've got all this gobbledygook here. I'm going to touch this button right there. So now we have a new page. Okay, so pick the green.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and write a little bit. So Doug's writing green, and I see I've got green on my finger here, but I still have blue here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
but I know it's got six points of touch.
okay.
6 points of touch.
Well, we could probably do. There's 4. So,
Right. Okay. So I switched the color.
yeah. Okay.
Just ask, because if I have multiple students up there, they're
Sure.
nice to have to know.
Well, I know you can do at least 2, right? And we could probably do 3, but they're not going to be in 3 different colors.
Okay.
Although, with the second pen, I'd be willing to bet that it would. to
I
pick
had
up.
2 pens for in here, but one of them wasn't working correctly, and it's down in the office now.
So the pens, I'd be willing to bet you could go 3 different colors. One on each pen and a separate one on a finger. Because these pens they're battery powered, so the battery's right there, in case that ever stops. Excuse me. So the pens will electronically cue into the number or to the color and thickness they're selected. My finger will just go with what I pick. So I'd be willing to go three colors, 3 people, 3 colors, if you have the 2 different pens. And the other pen color tip is orange, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 blue colored pens, they're going to key in on each other, right? So, okay. So add a new page. It's pretty simple. I just click the add a new page button. And if I want to see, excuse me, what's on all of my pages, I might have 10 pages going on here. Some student says, can we go back to, I can't remember the page. My page view is right here. It's that button. And that will give me the different pages that I have. And to get to any one page, all I have to do is touch it. And it'll take me to that page. And then to close this, if this gets in the way, I just touch that and it goes away. So one of the things that I talk about with the system, and we've seen a little bit so far, is what I call PhD, which is push your dummy. You know, don't be afraid to push the buttons. If you can use a cell phone or an iPad or a laptop, you can use this. Don't be afraid to come up and touch and experiment. So let's go back to a page here that has a bunch of squiggly lines in writing. So icon-based right? Touch to grab the tools. If I want to erase something here, right? What do you think I would do?
Normally you would hit your eraser.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go grab the eraser icon, the eraser tool. Then I have a couple different options with it. So here I've got just different thicknesses of the tool itself, of the eraser head. So think of it like, on the back of my pencil, how thick that is. So there we go. And I can get rid of a little bit at a time or a whole lot. So different options there. And I could just simply clear the screen with the trash can. So I want to get rid of everything. Just clear the screen, and there it goes.
And it's just clearing that one screen.
Just this one screen. So if we go back here and look, we'll see the other content is there. So that's a great question. Yeah, it's going to clear just what's here. Now, if I didn't want to do that, if I inadvertently cleared my screen, I was on screen 2, okay? And I have an undo button. Maybe I didn't mean to clear the screen, or a student did it by accident. I can undo, and I can undo until there's nothing left to undo. So it'll take me back. It's as much as far as it'll go. And also you'll notice now I have a redo. So maybe I undid one or two too many, and I want to go back and redo some of that. So those are right there for you, undo and redo. Right now, what we have is a bunch of squiggly lines. And one of the advantages of the Epson program that it has, that I really like, actually, let me do this real quick. So we'll take Doug here, and I'm going to grab the select tool. And one of the things that this allows me to do is treat all of that text as an object, and I can move it around. So a lot of times people are like, I wrote this in the wrong place, and they erase it and write it where they want it. Just select it and move it. And whoops. It's where we're having some of these calibration. There we go. So I can move this. I can spin it, rotate it, different things with that. So whether it's text, and I could get, and that's got the whole thing. And this is squeezing all of it up. So that grabbed just that little bit there for some reason. I'm not sure what happened with that. There, now it's got that. Normally, what I was able to do earlier with this was grab this and just get one line on the board and just get that one little line and move that one simple line. So like I wanted this line to be moved instead of everything. So Doug and I were messing with the touch calibrations earlier, trying to come up with a few things. So we'll have to go through that again. But that is something that I am able to do normally. So I might have Doug written out in 4 letters. I can grab all of it or individual letter and move that. Same thing with any other objects that I might bring into the screen. Text. So I might not always want to write. There'll be times where I'm going to want to use my text as an option. And that's what this tool allows me to do there. So when I select that and tap out on the screen, right, then that's where I want to be. I can pick from a variety of different fonts that are available. Pick different sizes. Move this out of the way. So we'll go to a big huge size. I tend to use the keyboard as opposed to the on-screen keyboard. Okay? And now I have text that I can use and move around and manipulate, spin, whatever I want to do with it. So think about this space as an area to bring in content, whether I'm writing, drawing, you putting in text. We'll bring in some images here in just a second. And then I can manipulate where it's positioned, its size, its orientation, all that sort of stuff as well.
Okay, a question I have with the text.
Yes.
Pertaining only to myself, but probably, I imagine Dr. Lau, he may have already asked you when he was over here. You have different fonts and stuff, but you also have international characters?
I don't think in this.
French. Go on down, see if it has Greek. Makes sense.
That's a script, is what that is. So it says French script. Yes, okay. Let's do this. These are just fonts.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted to, here, let's do this. So here is the toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to this toolbox, one of the options I have is settings.
Okay.
If I come to settings, I have a tab for language. Now, to get to different languages, they need to be loaded on the computers. So, into Greek. So let's restart this. No, it doesn't look like it. But, you know, the Greeks use not sure.
I imagine you would be able to load.
Oh yeah, there you go. So it's the language itself is showing in Greek.
Yeah. Okay, it's just, it's gonna be the, it'll be the.
Yeah, I would need the keyboard, right? The Greek keyboard.
I am assuming that you can download custom fonts.
Okay.
Probably is. So now I've got to find English here.
Would that be something that we need to find out?
I'd have to figure that one out.
The thing is, if I use my laptop, I could, because I would have that.
If you have the Easy Interactive software on your laptop and your laptop has Greek, I'm assuming that it would pull those fonts.
Yeah.
But we would have to test it and see.
Okay.
Sounds like Greek to me.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I was going to pull it out myself if nobody else did. Now I've got to actually find English again.
USA, English USA, or?
That's going to be, it'll be English, right? I'm not sure if that's it or not. I changed the language of the system. Nope, still in Greek. Well, did I just make a mistake? Doug,
Yes.
look up English in Greek for me, so I can change this back.
All the controls are in Greek.
They're all in Greek.
Oh,
gotta grab my phone here, so.
I turned my phone off so I would maybe get some peace while I was in here.
I'll get a little bit closer. Not quite. Okay, that's French. Romanian, Spanish. You speak Spanish, right?
Yes, Espanol. If you do it in, if you do it in Spanish, it would be I,
Inglés.
yeah, it would be in your I. Inglés.
Should be more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, I feel better. All right, so let's spend some time in this toolbox because there are some things in here that you're going to want to know. So in the toolbox, I have the option of opening a new whiteboard. Okay, so I've got one now. I can open an existing one. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but I can save a whiteboard. So if I have a lot of content on my screen that I want to save and keep and open up again later, I'm able to do that. And we'll do that in just a minute. So new, right, just opens up a brand new whiteboard. Open, we'll open an existing whiteboard. So here's one we did earlier today. It's just a bunch of squiggly lines.
So could you say, question B, could you say the series whiteboards, for instance, say, Dr. Wells wanted to do text for the students, and then go to the next screen, which would add text to the screen he has. Can that happen?
Yeah. So I've got, so this one was a 3-screen board.
Right.
So one of the examples I talked about this morning, so one of the things that I have done myself and I've seen other teachers do, is they'll create a whiteboard template to start their day, right? Guys, eyes please. Okay, they'll create a whiteboard template to start their day, right? And they'll open that when the first class comes in. So if I have, I'm teaching a math course and I have 3 sections of it that are coming in to see me today, or 2 sections today. And I want to kind of keep them the same level, want to kind of keep them on the same track. I've got my template of the whiteboard that I start with in the morning. I open that up and off we go. We're doing our bit. We're making our notes. We're progressing through the lesson. We're adding content that's specific to section 4. So when they leave, I'm going to come over here and save this, hit the save button and save it as section 4. So I'll give it a name. Come on. This is directly saved. So, because this was already been saved. And again, so new version has some things hidden from it. But I have an option when I close to save, and I'll track this down in just a second. But I would save it as section 4. Then I would go back to my template, open that up. You know, it's unused, unadulterated. It's the base content. Section 5 comes in at 10 o'clock. So again, we do our bit. They're done 10:50, they leave. I'm going to save that section 5, as opposed to what I had here, sample 101. So when the group comes back on Wednesday, I don't have to ask them where did we stop. I don't have to remember where I stopped with section 4. I can just go to my section 4 whiteboard and open it. And it'll have that work starting from my template up through when we finished.
Well, I think the question that I was trying to
Oh, I'm
ask
sorry.
is this.
Okay.
In relation to the way PowerPoint works.
Yes.
Okay. PowerPoint, you open up one of your slides and it has, this is my text at the top. And you go to your next slide and it says, this is my text.
Right.
And these are my answers.
Okay.
And you go to the next screen and it goes, this is my text, these are my answers, what are your questions? You see what I'm saying? As I'm progressing through, can you save a series of whiteboards like that?
Sure. But with those, it would just be another screen. So think of this as, you cancel that. So here I've got a screen. So think of
Okay.
my first PowerPoint slide.
Okay?
Okay? And this is going to have what on it? So what, in your scenario, this is?
Okay. This is my text.
Text?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to create another screen.
And it says, this is my text,
So you want,
my text again,
okay.
and below that, my answers.
Okay.
Okay? Then the next screen's gonna say, my text, my answers, my questions, or your questions. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where it would progress.
So I can set this up ahead of time. And have students come up, fill it in, whatever it is I want to do. But here's the first screen.
Right.
So when I bring this in, right, what I would do, see if this is going to work for me this time. There we go. So here I'm going to save this.
And where's that interactive tools at?
I'll show you.
Okay.
So I'm going to save this. So now what I can do, I close this out. So I've closed the whiteboard.
Right.
I've gone home. I've slept. I've had dinner. I watched the game. I did whatever. Now I come in 2 days later, and it's time for class. So I'll come here to the tools, open, and I want this one. And I'm going to open that. And there's that one. There's that screen.
Okay. That's what I was asking.
There's that. There's that screen.
Okay.
So absolutely, yes. I can have as many screens as I need to, as I want to. I can add more screens to this and save it and come back 2 days from now and the new content will be there.
And what I was thinking of, when I was taking classes from Dr. Lau, he had a series of maps, and I could see that working with a series of maps.
Yes.
So,
But does it have to be text that you put in there, or can that grab whatever you have on your screen, like if it's a PowerPoint?
So yes. So to go to that real quick. Right now we're in this whiteboard. And if I come out here and I go to annotation, is PowerPoint loaded on here? Well, I'll just open a browser. We'll just do it this way.
I'm not sure,
Okay. We'll do it this way.
because on these smart boards, we don't have a lot of
Okay.
use for Office.
Gotcha. So one of the things that I want to do here, because I want to actually manipulate the computer by touching it, so I need to go into mouse mode. So I'm going to touch this button right here, whiteboard, annotation, or mouse. So I go into mouse mode. So now I can manipulate the computer. So if I come here, let's go right there. Let's open this up. And let's say, you know what? I want some of this right here. I want that text in my whiteboard. My whiteboard is open, it's just in the background right now.
Right.
So I'm going to touch this button. Okay, we've got calibration issues. Select area.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah, so we've got some calibration issues, but basically, and I was able to do this earlier, it just took a little bit of time.
put your finger on one of those dots and hold it.
Yes.
Now, I'm trying to get that mobile symbol out of the center of the screen.
Yeah, this is the one to move all of it.
Right.
And what I should be able to do, there we go.
There we
And
go.
it's just been touchy about where I want it. So there we go. So I have, that's what I want. And I want that in my whiteboard. Touch the camera. Okay. Capture's complete. So now it's in the whiteboard. So let's go take a look. So I touch here, whiteboard. Well, where the heck is it? Well, we had 4 pages before.
Now you have 5.
Now we have 5. So if I look here, it's on the last page. Now,
Okay, can you move what's on page 5?
yes,
Under what's on page 1?
yeah, I'm getting ready to do that.
Okay.
Read my mind. So I come over here, get the select tool. And I select this. This little menu opens up right here, this little button. If I touch that button, I get an option that says copy. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to come over here. Right? And even though I have that selected, I just want to be able to get to this menu. I touch paste. And there it is. And now
It's
I
just
can
a matter of moving.
moving it where I want it and resizing it. So if you think about bringing content into your whiteboard, a lot of folks talk about, well, like you had Smart for a while. And Smart talked about, we've got all these images in our library, we've got all this stuff available. You have the internet. You can find the image, you can just crop it. And I would argue, because I have for countless years, that I have fair use to use it in my classroom for instructional purposes. Since I'm not selling it, I'm not making any money off of it, this is just for learning. So I can grab whatever content I find and just touch the camera, and I want to get either the full screen or I want to select an area and it'll bring it right in here.
Okay.
And at this point, I don't need page 5 anymore. So what I might do is just delete it. Because I have that up here. And that's one of the things that you have to understand about this. One of the things that I don't like about this is when I go and grab that content, I might be on page 1. Oh, I want to go get this from the website. And I go get that from the website, and what it does is it creates a new page and puts it at the end. So I have to copy it and move it.
Now, with your sidebar open like that, now this was just a question that popped in my head.
Yes.
With the sidebar
The
open
page list,
like
yes.
that, can you reorder the pages right there?
Should be able to, yes. Maybe not.
Yes, it just did.
There we go, yeah.
Okay.
So I gotta push, hold, and then drag it to where I want it to be.
That's, smart boards have got a lot more functionality than I thought it did.
There's a lot you can do with this. So here, I'm just going to get rid of that one, I don't need it. Boom, there we go. So now I just have my 3 screens. So if I drop over here we go. One of the other things that we can do, and for some reason this isn't picking up, you've got a webcam plug-in right here. This is a document camera, and it's not seeing the document camera, but that's a little bit different. In the options here, right, in that toolkit, is an option that says camera. So if I touch that camera button, that will bring up the webcam.
Now, chances are the reason it's not seeing that document camera is because the web camera's plugged in.
Well, on my Surface, I could pick either my webcam front, my camera back, or my document camera. So I'm not sure.
What about that drop down right there?
Well, that's one thing I'm getting ready to look at, and that's only giving me the webcam option. And this has a microphone, but it's not picking up here.
Right, because the other microphone is, the lapel mic is what has command.
It's not turned on.
Right, but it's plugged in. The-
Oh, okay.
the
So if I
receiver's-
unplug
The
it-
receiver's plugged in.
Do you mind if I unplug it for a
I
second?
don't care.
Okay. Now, I wanna see this work, so
It's the receiver's, the big.
stick,
Yep,
the big fat stick,
the big fat stick.
this guy.
Yep.
Okay. Let's try it now. Because one of the things that, you know, I might wanna do, is have some discussion where I'm on camera, as well as I had my, whiteboard open as well, so I wanna test this real quick. So here it's asking me to give this a name, and we'll just call this, third try. Okay, and so now, right, it's going to start recording. So we see here, we have the recording going on, and it's getting, at this point, it's getting this. So what I want to see, hello, 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 hey, yay, right, is if we get the audio. Okay, so let's find out. Close that. There we go. So just a little to the left. And if I come here, I have an option to open. So I'm in my toolbox, and I can either open an easy interactive whiteboard, or from here I can get an AVI file, which is what it records that in. So if we open this, still not grabbing the sound from the webcam. So I don't wanna work on it so much right now. But I just kinda wanted to show that I can record, or should be able to record and get sound. And I've done that on my system.
Yeah,
So,
it would take me a little bit of
okay, a little bit of tweaking.
tweaking to
Okay.
make that work.
Okay, well, maybe when this class is over, we have a little bit of time before the next one to give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay. Point is, I can grab the webcam and make use of it. And I can, let's go back to our whiteboard.
So theoretically, you could use that webcam right there to take your attendance like that.
Just take a picture.
Just take a picture.
Yeah. But let me look here. Okay, so let's grab some content here real quick. So one of the things that I want to look at we've done the capture. What do we have here? Okay. So let's go back out here, right? Do a, oh, wrong spot. There we go. Annotation, mouse. So if we're here, let me grab just a couple of quick things.
Yeah, that needs calibrating like that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get to the camera, right? There we go. So grab this select area, just maybe grab this kid's picture, drop that in there, that's one. We'll do this one, just simple. So now we'll go back. Clipboard. Okay, and remember it's stuck on that over, so each one of them got added to the end. So I'm going to come here and move that one over a little bit. bring it up some, come over here, take this one, and copy it, come here, and paste. So that'll drop that one over there. So, a couple of things to look at with this. I can manipulate the size and the orientation if I want to. And sometimes with some images you might wonder where is up. With this student it's pretty simple because that's, you know, their head, right? This points you to up. So if I want to get it up, back up to the top, there it is. Everything is layered. So if you think about this for a second, this one was brought in after the other one. It's on top, it's on the top layer. If I had multiple images here, each one would be on a certain layer. One of my options here is to either bring to front, send to back, bring forward, or send backward. So those options relate to layering. And let me do this. I'm going to get a copy of this.
What is infinite cloning?
I'll show you just a second. Okay, so now I have 4 different pictures, and you can kind of see how they're all layered in. Right? So if I take this one, I want to move this one behind that one, but in front of that one. So that's just, I'll move it back 1 layer, if that makes sense to you. So to do that, I'm going to touch this. I'm just going to say send backward. Now it's behind that one, but still in front of this one, as things are layered together. I could send it all the way to the back. So now it's behind everything. It's even behind that one. I could also bring it to the front, and now it's back on top of everything. So as you bring images in, as you have objects on your whiteboard, and they're overlapping each other, just think about the layering that's involved. So one thing you could do would just be to resize them so they could be side by side. But if you want them layered and they're in the wrong order, just grab the one you want, manipulate its layer position until you get it where you want it. The infinite cloning, that's one I really, really like. So, and it was one that I talked about this morning, that this morning's version did not have, that this one does. So the example I used this morning was I'm going to count coins. I've got first grade kids and they're learning how to count coins and making money. So I tell them I've got a quarter, a nickel, a dime, and a penny on the board, and I want them to make 97 cents. So, you know, what I've done is I would set up each of these objects for infinite cloning. And when I do that, okay, now as I come over and grab this, I can just grab a copy of it.
That's nice.
Okay, the original stays over here. So I can drag my 3/4. I can go and let's get the other kid, set him up for infinite cloning. So I've got 75 cents, 85 cents, 95 cents. And then I would have another one, right? I can set them all up to infinite clone. So that allows me to just, I don't know how many I'm going to need. I just know I'm going to need more than one, and I don't want to have to hit copy, paste, or duplicate. I just want to have it there ready to go. And however many images I have on the screen or objects, those can be set up to infinite clone all of them. So I don't have, it's not like I just have to do one at a time. So I could have all my objects set for infinite clone. So when I'm done with that, and I don't want to have that turned on anymore, I can just cancel it. And now it's canceled. And if I need just one copy, then I can just duplicate. And it throws a copy right here, right up front on the top layer. Okay. But it did not give me the option of continuing to make copies. I have to do it again if I wanted the copy. So that's what the infinite cloning is. And any object that you have, has that functionality. So this is that little piece that we cut off of the school's website a little while ago. What is this, COVID? Yeah, so the learning. You guys are on distance learning right now?
One more than,
One more day?
until
So-
that's there.
Can you do that with the written text up there?
Yes. You move this out of the way, please.
Okay.
Whoops. Yes, I can. Now, one of the other cool things about this that I really, really like, I'm going to go to Windows for a minute. So to do that, I'm going to touch that option. I'm going to go to annotation. I also want mouse control. I could use my mouse here, right, but I want mouse control. So I'll come over here and touch the mouse button. So now I have control of this. I want to do this just to show you. So in YouTube or any other video, right? I used to coach soccer. So I'm just going to grab a match, somebody's match somewhere. Here we go. And
Thank you, Cindy Ledbetter, for supporting congressional term limits.
Live TV from 85 plus channels with
there we go. I just muted that one. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the audio option. There we go. Okay. So the point here is, one of the things that I'm able to do, if I come back over here and go to annotation, okay, is annotate. Let me stop. I'll go to mouse, and let's grab this. Let's move this forward a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to pause this. And so here comes the balls flying in here. I'm going to come over here to annotation, and we'll take the red pen and say, okay, balls come in here, and what I want to happen, and I have no idea what's getting ready to happen, but what I want to happen is this, this, and this. So I want all these other things to happen. So I can now come back over here, go back to mouse. I cleared my annotation. Okay, I gotta check into that. That might be a new unfeature. Because what I was normally able to do, what I have been able to do this morning, was annotate over this video. You know, pause it, make some annotations, and then play it. So I could see what was going on at the time. And so right now it's playing, and I can annotate, right? But what I want to be able to do is pause it, annotate over it, and then play. So my annotations stay on top. And I know I can do it. This is the new version, so I've got to sort out probably a setting somewhere. So there are not a whole lot of systems that allow you to do that with regards to annotation over live video. And, or I say live video, over video. So many options, many areas where that's useful, not just in athletics. So the one I used this morning was I'm setting up a chem lab, chemistry experiment today, and I want to show the students, you know what, your burner, your flame only needs to be this high. And let me show you why, right? And you have a video here of a chemistry lab experiment gone bad, where the student's flame on the burner was too high. And so you draw the line. There we go. You draw the line and say the flame should be no higher than that. Right there. That's as high as it should go. And you press play. And then as the video starts, you see the student's flame on their burners up here. And a couple seconds later, poof! Okay? So it's, you know, guys, don't you watch your flame levels, you know, those types of things, so you're able to show stuff and make those annotations. Okay. So, I'm sorry, we'll stay in Windows for a while. So right now, we're out here in Windows, and I'm in annotation mode. So I'm using my computer, right? So if I'm showing a PowerPoint, or I'm watching YouTube, or I'm doing whatever it is, or on the web, I need to be able to use it. Right now, every time I touch it, it's going to write something, or it's going to do something. I want to work with the mouse. So I'll come here and go to mouse mode, and now I'm able to control and manipulate my screen. When I get to where I want to annotate, I go back, annotations, and I get my annotation tools. And now I can begin to write and draw, and do the other things that I want to do. When I want to go back into my whiteboard, I'm done with working in Windows, go back to my whiteboard, and there I am. Oops, and I've got I do that all the time. Here, in this screen, so what I just did was right on the screen, and I didn't really want to, because I didn't have the right tool selected. When I came back in here, it defaulted me to the pin tool on blue. So first thing I want to do is undo that mark. So I'll push the undo button, and then grab the select tool, right? It's like the mouse tool, it's the pointer, for lack of a better term. Now I can move things around and get stuff where I want it to go. Come on. So it's a matter of getting up and using, touching, working, right? And manipulating. I don't always want the white background. Every now and then I want to have a different background. This button right here, come on. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. Lets me change my backgrounds. So different backgrounds that are available to me. Okay. I could grab an image from my document camera, right, from my webcam. Okay. There that is. So that's now become my background image.
You can grab one from your computer also, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of times what will happen is you'll decide I want a different background. You can't find one you want. Just go out to the web, crop one out, use that one. So, pretty simple. It's just a matter of doing it and using it. It's simple for me because I've been standing here doing it for a while. For you guys, it's going to take actually coming up and doing. So what I'd like to do, given that very statement, is I'm going to come over here, right? This is the save button. They moved it. That's why I kept going nuts trying to find it. So this is the save button. So I'm going to come over here and save this as, oops, it's trying to save this as a bitmap or a JPEG. That's not what I want. So maybe it still is over here. Yeah. So I'll check that because it dropped it. We had already saved this as that sample, so it just overwrote. I know there's a way to not overwrite that, to give it a new name, because I do it all the time. So again, new version. I'm going to close this out. And what I'd like you guys to do is to come.
There's not a save as function.
There is, and it might be, I might have it set just to overwrite. So
Is it not in the toolbox?
this is location.
Yeah.
So in the earlier version this morning, that's why we have 3 or 4 different sample whiteboards. It's because I just saved it as a different name. But I'll track it down. So anyway, what I want to do is just close this and let you guys come up. Okay, I could do this, save changes in annotation mode. I say yes, so I think it's going to drop it. There we go. But that seems kind of kind of different. So let me do this. Oops, if I can spell.
Spelling's overrated.
You know, I've thought that. Bill Gates gave us a dictionary. Why not just use that? So, okay, so there we go. But what I'd like to do is to have you guys come up. There we go. And open it up. Open up the whiteboard. Go out, go to Windows, cut something off of a web page, bring it in, a couple of different pages with some text and some objects. Now, one of the things I didn't show you that I want you to find, okay? And I'll tell you where it is, but I want you to open it up and find it and use it. There's a shapes tool. So if you remember where I went to the pen, okay? When I touch that, I get a couple different options. One of them is a pen and then different thicknesses of lines. Now, there's a highlighter, different thicknesses of lines. The other is the shapes. And it's just basic shapes. It's circle, oval, triangle, square, rectangle, I believe. And so you have two options for each. One is an outline, and one is a solid. So if I select the circle outline, then what I'll get, when I do that, I just touch my finger and pull it down. It'll create a circle as big or as small as my touch is. As I drag, I'll get just the outline. If I touch the solid shape, then I will get an opaque circle in the color that I selected. Does that make sense? Okay. So, please, have that.
The instructor, please.
I get to do that, huh?
Come up and show us. And you can do it together. A lot of times it's easier when you have two of you standing there because you can ask each other questions at the same time. Where was this?
And just so y'all know, this session's being recorded, I think.
It is.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That should,
Right here, I dropped it right here on the task.
oh,
On the
you
test.
use that one down there.
There you go. That should get it.
Okay.
So that's just the simple whiteboard screen.
And those are your opaques and such.
Yes.
So let's. Okay, let's. And then one go this, and then let's do the rectangle. Okay?
Okay, now see, now what's going on is,
No,
that's
how-
okay, yeah, so let's explain what happened. So when you lift your finger, right, it says that's the shape.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Because I can manipulate the size of the shape by selecting the select tool. So the second time you put your hand out there, it said, I want to create a second shape.
So those I need to get rid of.
So wait, no, it's an easier way, so just tap on the screen somewhere. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, now, to make that,
Bigger.
to
on
move
the-
it, there you go. And now you can manipulate that, so just tap it. Just tap it. Whoops. There you go.
Okay.
So you should be able to just come here and tap it and move it, and make it a little bit bigger or smaller,
Okay.
right? And it takes a little getting used to. And then one of the things that is going to be a little frustrating, and I apologize for this, is just some of the,
Okay, hold on just a second.
yes.
The way he's got that set right now, if he touches that square and selects that square, will he be able to rotate the square and all that's in it, or just the square?
Should be just the square.
Oh, okay.
So, let's take a look. So,
I'll do that again?
yeah, so touch the square, and now go up to the top and rotate that.
Yeah, it's
It's
gonna
just
rotate
that
the
object.
box. Okay.
Now, there used to be a way, and I'm sure they still have this functionality, for me to get the square and the stuff inside and move it all.
What
I
Yes.
gotta track that down. So
That's-
What does the box at the top do? This up here.
that checks it.
Okay, let's
So
check
I
this
can
down.
do other things with it.
Okay. And this
Well, here, okay, so let me do that real quick. So let's go take a look. So if I do that, I have this selected, and I have this. If I check this and check that, no, because it overwrote down here. There should be, let me do this. Let me move this over. Let's move this over here for a second. I'll check that one. Oh, I've got it on duplicate. Yeah, we've got cloning on, so let me cancel that. So I come here, check, come here. Yeah, so I can't have them both checked at the same time, which was something that I thought I would be able to do. So we put that back. And this one still has infinite cloning on. Okay, sorry.
I'll let you.
Oh, okay.
I'll let
Come
you
on,
come, I'll let you come up.
you have a whack at it. So what I want you to do is go out to Windows, open a web page, and just cut a piece of the web page out.
Where, in where? Wilder? I was just going to take that one bracket down.
Okay, so first you gotta go, there, back there, go mouse. Okay, so now open a browser.
Yeah.
You just take a slice of that and you find.
Nope. Even if it does.
So, yeah, we gotta, this is what's, part of the problem is the calibration is off a little bit. So,
Alright.
gotta just, no, we'll stay on the mouse. But we'll kind of be over here a little bit. There you go. Select area. And see, this is where I've got some of these calibration frustrations going on.
Yeah.
Normally, you would be able to manipulate the size and shape of that by pulling on those.
Go. Alec, go just a little bit left of the dot to get what you need. The calibration is off
There it
just
is.
to the left.
Okay. And when you're done, you just push the camera button. Okay, and now it says capture complete, and it's pointing you back to the whiteboard, because that's where it put it in the whiteboard. So go to where the mouse is. That's whiteboard.
And now you.
And so look down the icon at the bottom there. There you go. Okay. Or the other way to do this, right? So go ahead and touch that icon again. It's circled in black, and that will close that. So if you look down there where it says 2-2, you could use the arrows to go from page to page.
Okay, so if,
Now go ahead and do this. Take that and put it on page 1.
This?
Yes. Touch any object. Any object.
Huh?
Any object, either
The square,
column or
touch the
square.
square.
Touch the square. Okay, and now go down there.
There you
and
go.
paste. And now you can move that. And the calibration in the whiteboard is a little bit better than it is out on Windows for some reason. Okay, pretty straightforward. So it's not difficult. Why don't you come up and give us some text? So rather than the written, use the text option.
and,
So at this point, just touch anywhere on the screen.
let's go here. I know what I like. Where you at?
You grab Calibri.
No.
Oops.
Okay. That's fine, I'll just go with that.
Yeah, that's fine. And just touch on the screen anywhere. And there it is. And
Okay,
so you
now
can-
hold on. So, how can I reselect that text and make it larger? Okay.
tap on it, so select tool, tap on that text, and then you can go in and highlight it and make it bigger. So you gotta highlight the text first.
Okay. Just let it know.
Yeah, just click and drag in there.
I'm still on select, so. Okay, so.
Yeah, select the text.
Drag it.
Well, so right now you're in that editing mode. So like if you wanted to make it underline or bold or italic, you could do that. If you want to move it around, move the actual text. So just click out. Now with the select tool, just grab it and move it where you want it.
Come on, stupid. Come on in. There we go.
So you just gotta get it till, till. There you go. And you saw there what he was able to do, because it had wrapped down to 2 lines, you really don't want on one, make it longer, make that space a little bit longer, and that'll do it. So that's one way you can repaginate, for lack of a better term, right, or reformat the size and layout of the text.
So, we're gonna go. Was this where I went to
Well,
annotation?
okay, so now,
Let me see. Okay, this will come over right there.
You need your mouse.
you need the mouse.
You hit the mouse button.
Well, okay, so you got 2 things, right? So you need to touch
Okay.
the mouse button.
Okay.
'Cause right now you're in,
Okay, you're right.
there you go. And now you can touch and manipulate.
Please. Let's go back to the soccer match. Okay, so here. Here. Huh?
And get through the ad.
Yeah, get through that.
Let's just skip that.
Oh, I didn't see
At
that.
least it's spread on it instead of.
Okay, so let's stop him. Now, I want to, how did you select an area?
Oh, you need to clip?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna clip on the camera.
Yeah.
So let's clip on the camera right here.
Oh, click on camera.
And then select the
Select an
area.
area. Okay. Capture
Yeah, that put it into the whiteboard.
into the whiteboard.
So from there,
So now we're going back to the whiteboard. Okay. So now, we're gonna go there. So there. Now, this is the question that I had while ago.
okay,
This is on infinite cloning right now. Can
Right.
I go,
you can't go and drag it up.
can't go to a different page?
Not from here, not that I've been able to figure out.
See, that's what I was asking while ago.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be beautiful if I could. Just drag it to the other page.
Okay, so,
But you could copy it and put it up on the other page.
yeah, that's what I'm. And put that object. Paste.
mean, this is fairly simple,
Yeah, it's just a matter of doing it.
and I had no idea that this was a functionality that the whiteboard had. That is really good, really nice.
I think that's fairly new, that feature, all new software.
The rotating?
I think so.
Well, we were able to do it on the version we had this morning.
We were?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first place I saw him do it.
So you're gonna be active going around putting in the update.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go around to the smart boards on campus and make sure that
We had, I know the one that Douglas uses, the 108 is the old version, because this is the one I think I pull up on my own laptop, which
Okay.
sort of surprised me, because I got used to that, then Douglas had a question, and it was the old version.
So the new version I can just download, is that correct?
It's on here. So, let me do this. Let's just close this. We'll save all that.
Playground, I don't know.
Okay. All right, so here, in the downloads, is
Okay.
that's the EXE program.
What I'm saying is, I can go to any smart board on campus, get on the internet,
Oh, yeah.
and just download
Mhm.
it. That's all I need to do.
Yes,
As long as I have an administrator password to do it with.
right. I'd throw it on a flash stick and just drop
Oh,
it in.
that's too much like common sense.
But yes, and this is, right, Easy Interactive Tools version 5. The one I have on my laptop is 4.2. The one we worked with this morning was 3 point something. And the functionalities are all the same. It's presented differently. So,
I may download that to my desktop just to play with it.
and I highly recommend, the professor that was here this morning, the woman sitting in front, I can't remember her name.
Oh, Dr. Wilson.
Okay. She says she uses her laptop in her room a lot.
Right.
So I'm assuming she just plugs in and cables in, and that's something that you can do. You can bring in your laptop and I would assume here, right, into the HDMI cable.
Either that or take it, do an HDMI cable, or take the VGA out of the back of the,
Okay, yeah, either way.
either way.
And plug in here. So if you load that software on your laptop, you'll be able to do everything.
Which is what Dr. Lau uses his laptop in 108.
So hold on just a second, let me get this straight. So if you have the software on your laptop, can you build your whiteboards before you go to
Oh,
class?
absolutely.
That would be great.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. That's what I was saying earlier, where I had that teacher that had, she would do her math, and she taught algebra, basically, high school algebra. And so when she's getting ready to start new content, so today we're going to learn about solving quadratic equations. And
I
so,
know the math people are twisted.
yeah, they are. They're nuts. But she would build this whiteboard up, and then on Monday morning, she would open it up, and then when she was done with her first period block, she would save it as block 1. Second block came in, new set of kids. They want to start from the same ground zero the other class did, so she'd go back to the original whiteboard, what was in essence the template, open that one, work through the day, and they're going to have different notes, different annotations, different discussions. They're going to finish at a different place than the first block did. Saves that one as block 2. And then when they came back on Tuesday, she taught 4 classes. When they came back on Tuesday morning, she didn't have to say, okay guys, where did we stop yesterday? She would just went to that whiteboard and opened that particular whiteboard for that class. And they were right there where they stopped yesterday. So,
This is a very good tool.
yeah.
I never really knew the functionality of some of this. I'm just an IT guy.
I know. So, questions? I think we kind of hit on most of it for right now.
In other words, one of the directives is to go out there and play with it.
Yeah, that's the next thing I was getting ready to say, is what you need to do, what I told them this morning, is as soon as you possibly can, and I know that it'll probably be in a couple of days, either go back into your room and work with the one that's there, and even if it presents differently, it's still icon-based. So, when I say icon-based, you can use one of these, and I see an iPad there and an iPad there, then you can do this. So, it is looking at the icons, seeing what's there, look at the tool. If I want to write, nobody ever had to tell you how to write on that whiteboard, did they? You never had a training class on how to write on a whiteboard? No. So what did you do? You knew to pick up a pen and write. Okay? And you knew, oh, I got to take the top off the pen. And I got to turn the pen a certain way to get a thickness on the line. Same thing here.
And make sure it's dry erase.
Yeah, exactly. Not a Sharpie. But how do you write on this? You pick up the pen by touching it. You adjust the thickness by, again, touching the thickness of the line and pick the color. So, same type of thing. You know, it's presented to you in icons as opposed to objects. But if you really look at it that way, it's just really simple. And there's nothing that you can do to mess it up so bad that it can't be fixed. And you know, the time to make the mistakes and to do all that is now. And if you really mess things up, just delete the program and reinstall it. But one of the things in all the settings, so if we go back here to the settings, right here, settings, restore defaults. So if you come in and manipulate things, and you don't like it, you can't remember what you changed, just restore it to the defaults. Some of the things that you asked me about earlier, about where does it store stuff, where does it put things, where is that easy interactive folder?
There's your save tab right
Yes,
there.
yeah. So if we look at a couple of things in here, when I go to open something, if I come over here, and that's my save, here we go. So there's save as right there. But what it was doing before when I touched it was if I'd already saved it, it was saving it as is, as opposed to saving it as. So I need to find out where to go to do that. But it wants to put things in its own folders. So if you think about Microsoft Office, when you save a Word document, where does it go? It goes into a folder called Documents. And it's if you look at it up in here, you'll see where you navigate in. So it's your user file, your user profile, so on and so forth to Documents. Same thing with spreadsheets and that sort of stuff. So it wants to put it in a certain place. You can put it wherever you want to, but it wants to put it right here. So if you go out and go through the file directory, you'll find that easy interactive
Use that
folder.
little drop down arrow right there. Okay, see, that's what I know is, so that's in my documents.
It's in Documents, yes.
Okay.
It's a
That's-
folder
that's
inside of
what I
Documents.
That's what I was wanting to find out a while ago. Now, let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Will that save in any other format than the format that it's set to?
So I have an option to save this as, I could save my whiteboard as a series of JPEGs, bitmaps, pings, save it as a PDF. So when I say series, each screen
Would be a PDF.
would be a PDF, would be a page, would be a, right?
Right.
So each screen would be a different JPEG. That's right. Or as an interactive, right? An easy interactive tools, or as just a generic IWB, an interactive whiteboard.
That possibly might work with
Smart.
smartboards.
It might. And Smart has an option to save as an interactive whiteboard.
Okay.
So, and I believe you can open interactive whiteboard files here. So. Questions? It's a lot. We went through a lot.